by like year 11, I'd gone through a couple of years of trials here, this and that. And I was like, yeah, man, like every time I went to the trials, there was just better people. So around sixth form, I was kind of like, do you know what? I've tried it. It's not working for me. And then I got offered an opportunity to coach at a local youth club. So it was like a sliding door moment. Like I was in sixth form and I hated it. I was like really struggling with my mental health. I was like really suicidal. You know, those parents of like, I wanted to do PE. I was like, no, can't do PE.
Yeah, they're pushing you one way.
Really well. And I was like, okay, like I stopped going to school. For like 3-4 months, I stopped going to school. And I was like, God, I was like, fuck this. I was just thinking about all negative stuff like how could I kill myself? All of this mad stuff. And then like, as I was going to the youth club, I had a youth worker that was just saying, oh, what about this? And he was trying to get me into the non-league thing. It's like, what's non-league? Now that I know, I'm pissed because I wish when I hear how much people pick up. People in my step, I'm step 5. People at step 5 are picking up 2-3 bills a week. Cash, tax free. I said, if I could go back to 60-year-old me, I'll say, play. Anyway, I didn't. It is what it is. I didn't miss the opportunity. And then I kind of, when I came out that little mist of like just feeling sorry for myself, and I reevaluated, I had amazing people around me, took a real like belief in like life. I was like, okay, what do I want to do? My whole life is, you know, be a doctor, be a lawyer.
You were pushed down that way.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, like what do I want to do? I'm not really super intelligent. I'm okay in school, but I don't think I can do 4 years of this med school and then 5 years this. So I was like, cool. I like sport. My youth workers are cool. Don't really know what this is, but let me try and get into it. And then long story short, when I dropped out, because my grades in sixth form, the first year, were like the consonants. It was crazy. It was just a mad thing. It was crazy because I hadn't been in there.
There was an error, bro. Imagine.
It was bad. But then you remember, I hadn't been in school for like a couple of months, and I'm trying to freestyle. I'm not smart enough to do that. I actually had to revise.
You're in the exams,
just freestyling. Gorbachev and this and that, Perestroika. Anyway, I said, okay, what am I going to do? I said, I'm going to enroll in college. And I hope my parents don't beat me down. And this is where you realise, when you get older, you realise your parents love you and they just want the best life for you. Because my mum didn't even flip. I thought she was going to flip mode like Busta Rhymes. She didn't even flip. She just looked at me and then like she was like, okay. She took like a day and I'm thinking, I'm stressed. I'm thinking, why is she taking so long? And then she'd researched college courses and football qualifications. Cool, so you're going to get your pro license, you're going to do your masters at uni. And she took her time to research.
She then remapped what her idea was.
I took an element of that because I was like, cool, I just thought the next 2 years, you thought like that. So I took a little bit of that and then everything else I was just falling forward. I was just trying things, coaching for people that set up their own companies essentially. And I fell into this whole sports development charity and then got into the more elite stuff in the last 5-6 years.
It's great though, isn't it great though how like obviously at that young age maybe those people were annoying on one side because it's like, well, I can't get in because they're better than me on one side. But now in what you do, you almost needed to see what that looked like for you to understand there's levels to the game, which now helps you in your coaching a lot.
100%.
How do you, obviously, one of the things kind of themes that are on the show, we try to talk a lot around, because I think we've all had our battles with it, is mental health, right? Well, when you're going through that really difficult moment you talked about, and thank you for sharing that, what are some of the like practical things that maybe helped you? So when I say practical, I don't necessarily mean like the big grand things. Of course, those are important as well. But like mine is crisps sometimes. I just like to eat crisps and watch football. You know what I mean? Like it's dumb things like that. Like what were the things that you maybe remember in that moment were helpful for you to kind of help you get out of that headspace?
I think there was 2 things. I think like in terms of getting out that funk was like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched The Wire before.
Yeah, bro.
Cool.
Great.
So, there's Bub says about like addicts. He goes, you have to bottom out, right? You have to hit rock bottom. And that looks differently for everyone. So for me, it was thinking about what that moment would look like, and then thinking about after it. And then I started to think how selfish I was, because how would my mum be? How would my dad be? This and that. So I think once I got to that point, it probably took 6 months or so. Then I started to think, okay, well, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I'm not. And I think that was like a quite clear moment of like, that is just like a thought as opposed to a feeling. So that was one element of it, like going through all those deep, dark moments and this and that.
So riding the wave is part of it, like experiencing how you feel.
And I learned that on the way out, which is because feelings they come and go, right? You're going to have moments when you're up,
Guys, thanks for making it this far into the show, man. I have a small favour to ask, and so does my friend here. Trauma, he's had to go. Immigration, financial issues, he has to go. So he's not here with me right now. If you guys could, please, just like, comment, and subscribe. It helps more than you'd ever know. And look, we want Bocky back. We miss Bocky. He's not here for us. So just do the right thing and support the show, man. Godspeed.
Moments being down and not infinite. And then I think the outside of it is, God willing, I had good people around me. So I had a really good family. Faith, really good friends. So I think I've had the same core group who you know of since I was 8. So people that accepted me for me. So and we had a brief conversation as you're going through those periods of people know me for being calm and relaxed and happy. People are just genuinely like helping you, like not really sticking on you and stuff like that. I think that was good to have like people I didn't need to be fake around.
Yeah.
And I think the youth workers, I think having people now that I'm older, what I didn't realise is they're probably like 41 to 45. But when I'm like 16 and they're 25, whatever, I think they're like 50.
Yeah.
So I'm like, right, these grown men are like giving me opportunities. So I think that was another one, to your point. So when he was saying, oh, do you want to volunteer? That's dragging me out of my house. So where I've been hiding inside all day and he's saying, oh, do you want to do something Friday? Oh yeah, of course. I've just been
almost, like,
at home all day doing nothing, feeling sorry for myself. So I think that was that. And then I think looking back on it, what keeps me in a good state is just putting things into context. So, you know, when I was younger, I thought, you know, like everyone, you know, didn't have all the glossy clothes, was a smaller kid, was dark skinned, people getting onto all the time. Those are the good days. Those are the good days. When people are getting onto you, sometimes you can take it personally. Then you get a bit older.
Kids are mean.
And I realised everyone went through it. Like there's a level to it. So I stopped taking it personally and I reflect on going, okay, this is just a phase. So there's going to be a phase when you're up and things are working, and there'll be a phase when you're down. And it's not always about how hard you work. Sometimes you're working really hard and things don't land for you. And sometimes you walk out, you meet someone and they connect you with someone, you get a job. And that's what happened for me. I met someone who believed in me. They offered me opportunities. And I went through 2 years of like ease where I was just getting jobs and opportunities and all I had to do was just like turn up and be me.
And just be you in the state.
So when I reflect back on it, it was like going, okay, like kind of be in a moment, learn like what it's taking from you. Especially as men, it's really uncomfortable. As I got older, through talking to older men, I think that was the gap. Guys my age were like, get money, get gal, go on holiday,
Mentors,
this and that.
though, right? Mentors.
But the older guys are like, listen, when you go for your first coaching job, this is how much they should pay you. Don't let them offer you the little boy peas. They should pay you this. They've got it because they paid me this, so they should pay you that. I'll watch your session. You need to tweak that up. You're a bit too quiet, get a bit louder. So that was it. I didn't really know it at the time. At the time, I definitely rode the wave. And then maybe after uni, because I kind of went college, uni a little bit late, and I kind of slowed down. I kind of looked at myself, as I imagine everyone does. And I said, okay, how have I kind of got here? Because I kind of been freestyling things for like 6 or so years, and I hadn't really stopped to kind of think what was going on. Who am I? Meeting people, and you're like this version of yourself. And then I was like, okay, like, who am I? And I looked back at how far I'd gone, and I hadn't felt bad in like 6 to 8 years, from like 16 to like 23. I was like, there was ups and downs, but there was never more than like a week or two. And I was like, okay, what are the factors? And then I started to look through that, which is I had a bit more purpose. I understood who my friends were. I think I got to a point where, like, because I grew up in such a tough environment, African parents, you know, you had a mixture of different cultures in East London, people making money, people fighting all the time. When I was in the Midlands, I said, this is easy. I'm not even a bad boy, but I've seen people deal with conflict in a real way. Now I'm up, I'm like, and then I saw a different way of living. I think that was a good one, actually. Going up to the Midlands, I went to Derby, it's not one of the beta unis. I was like, right, the world is just bigger than the ends. And I think that context really helped me. And I didn't understand it at the time. So when I came back to London, I was like, it's really just about working hard and earning enough money for your lifestyle. But at 30, to like finish off, when I was speaking to the boys and everyone had such similar experiences, and it's COVID, you've got time. I was like, rah, bro, I didn't know you were going through that because you were up. Like, I'm looking at you got the gal, you got the whip. He's like, nah, bro, I've never been so sad. I was like, so I thought when you get there, because in my mind I was like, happiness is a salary, is an end point. You know, you get 50 bags and you pay off your mortgage, you're happy. And I'm meeting people that have done it and they're telling me I've never been so sad. I'm like, what?
For sure.
So yeah, man, it's interesting. I don't think as men we talk enough about it.
At that age, you spoke about the fact you're in a very dark place. at that age. So what specifically happened that made you feel like you wanted, like you were suicidal?
I think it was just taking things internal. So I'm someone that overthinks. So I think it's the environment. I think everyone felt like that every day. You're trying to come back home with what you left with. People like, what size are you? What phone is that? You got to be switched on. Yeah. People are back of the bus. People are cussing you. You got to be. And there's that constant cycle of having to bully or be bullied. So
bro, people think London is bad now, bro. London, I think when we were younger,
I think that was way worse, bro.
It's not even comparable.
Do you know what we need to do a segment on? Like, we need to talk about happy slapping days, bro.
I was saying this to my sister.
We need to talk about
people are slapping grown adults.
Yeah. That because like at the time it was just what we were doing. Yeah. But when you look back and reflect on happy slapping days,
some of the slaps
that
crazy.
Is like terrorism. But anyway, let's look in on this because I find it interesting because at that age, I think we kind of happy-go-lucky. We still got hopes and dreams. Do you know what I mean? So for you to end up at that place where you think, fuck, I'm done here. And then I think you kind of answered my question because the external situation as well was compounding that. Because I grew up in a similar situation because you said something that resonated with me was I felt there was a lot of microaggression and racism back in the day that was kind of.
I didn't realise that until I got older.
Exactly, it was kind of covered up.
I didn't experience that.
Exactly, it was, and you said it just now. It made me remember like same shit when I was growing up in the block, sort of mixed cultures and stuff. Because I'm not the only black boy here, but certain white people and even white families. I felt it from a particular family. I won't say, but like. So you were obviously going through the pressures of trying to find yourself, what you're going to do. Obviously, the football weren't working out for you. But on top of that, which was compounding it, you actually had these external issues, like from your environment, that were.
I think 100%. Like it's like obviously like quarter Trini, but grew up people still thinking of me Nigerian. So Africans and Caribbeans weren't vibing like that.
Yeah.
That was a real thing.
My dad used to hate the Jamaicans. Jamaicans, you're hanging out with that Jamaican boy.
There was a lot of stuff. People, you know, when I reflected on it, my parents both worked. I lived in the house. I was lucky, but I didn't have the nicest crepes.
Yeah,
you know, they weren't bust down, but I didn't have like the lit ones. On uniform day was a bit stressed. Yeah. So it's also like that thing of like, okay, before you make fun of this, I'm gonna get onto your sandals. So then I'm constantly thinking, but then now you're gonna have an issue with me because I cussed you yesterday. Now you're gonna cuss me tomorrow. But I did that to make sure you didn't get onto me because I was insecure about my trainers. So I went for something that I thought was going to work. So every day is that compounding thing of like, I'm feeding into this. Because I played football and I've got friends, I've worked my way up to stuff where like maybe people aren't getting onto me because I've cussed and I've got onto other people. And now I'm kind of seeing the table and seeing the other environment, people getting robbed. I'm thinking, wait, I grew up very much as a bit of a neek. But then through football, I was cool with the boys that were doing that, and I was cool with the football boys. So outside of football, people thought football's good. I said, nah, it's because you don't get football. I know what football is like. Them boys are cold. So I felt like a bit of an imposter. I was like, I'm not going to get a scholar. I'm not really going to go off and do all of this. There was some family stuff in terms of like my parents and how they were together and dealing with that stuff. And you get older, and all of us boys, we all talk about dads going back to Nigeria to do business.
Yeah, bro.
You know, you find out about wider families as you get older, but you don't talk about it because of the shame.
Remember, I just came back from Zambia, bro. We went from 5 to 9, bro.
But when you're young, that feels embarrassing. You don't want to hold that. So I'm holding this all inside, not telling anyone. And I think sixth form was just like a bursting point. I thought I was doing really well. And I think maybe I just started to think about it. I was thinking I don't think I can finish sixth form.
You're talking there about cussing, for example, right? I think that culture of cussing is one of the main things that helped me be really good at sales.
I think you need it. Now, no one can upset me. I've heard everything.
So long term, it wasn't a bad thing.
Oh, no.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I had to go through it.
But in the moment, I think this is
I would
in
have
the
swapped
moment.
it at 16. I would have swapped it at 35. That's a core.
I always say to these boys, like, I've let everything growing up in the concrete jungle. It prepares you for everything. Like, I've seen shit that later on in life that actually I look back and like fucking traumatic and stuff. But also, it's like it does prepare you for life, bro. Like, I had an identity crisis when I was growing up. Like, I'm going up around these white boys and mixes and thinking about that, especially being my colour. But I used to get it.
100%.
I used to get it, but Mr. Poe, do you know who Mr. Poe is?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
That's my show, bro. Dragon Ball Z. I was watching it before anime was cool.
Bro, you see what I'm saying? Man, I call you Mr. Poe.
and them ting.
I said, you look like Mr. Poe, bro.
Yeah, but that's what. But I'm saying, like, in those moments, in those times, and like you said, is like you create when it first starts off, you maybe don't know what to do or don't know what to say. You're trying to figure yourself out. You kind of take it in. when you get to that point where you start going, okay, cool, I'm gonna cuss you about those slippers or whatever, you start getting your own back. You do go into a mode of actually just finding yourself and actually getting comfortable with those things. That when you get to our age in 35, like you said, there's nothing. And I remember saying this to someone. We were gonna have what's that thing where you speak about we listen but we don't judge. We were gonna do that, and I was like, just so you know, there's nothing you can say to me that's going to make me upset.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, you're gonna be upset with what I say about you, right? Yeah. Because I've got like this, the thickness of skin that I've got from those years of growing up is unbelievable.
You
right?
grew up in the hood, like the country as well.
And I grew up in the countryside, right?
Yeah.
Countryside.
You were one of one, bro.
There was a period of time where I was the only black kid in school, and there's about 500 kids.
Yeah, you're
and it was just me.
That's tough,
but then no,
but I'm older. I realised how tough that was.
No.
I used to think the man them off ends were like killing it.
Yeah,
but I tell you,
you must get all the gal.
No,
do you think I'm
you
gonna
know
put
what?
my kid in a situation where she's one of one, bro?
But you know what? I think I got
be.
the lucky end of that stick, where like the people that initially came around me were actually really good people and really good friends. That I ended up in a crowd where it was like actually through school, and I remember like the first couple of days of school, and I told this to my wife the other day. She finds it really hilarious. Like the first group of kids I was rolling around with or walking around with, they said, "Oh, come here. There's a girl that wants to see you." Went up to the girl and said, "Oh, you're my boyfriend now." It's like it just ended up like I became that cool kid like instantly because girl just want you straight away, and I was just like initially from school,
thinking,
bro.
At
12 years old, I'm like, I'm with it. So like I end up being the lucky end of that stick where like all through school like things just kind of worked out well. But again, I've heard stories of like people or when I got older that I grew up with in another school that went through a horrid time because they were one of one, and it was just traumatizing what they went through all those years. It's tough.